we do this report once a month. And the idea behind the report is it's not what you can ask your doctor for today or yesterday, it's what's coming in the future in medicine, both practical and research. Heavy emphasis on research. So everything is AI now. So I figure I don't really like AI. I'm afraid of it, but it's taking hold. So I have to have some AI news to tell you about. And I do. So Google has developed and is working on a program called Green Light. The point of Green Light is to fix the traffic flow in our major cities. It will be connected to the street lights. It will time the intervals so that cars can pass through more effectively, which will speed up transit. But more importantly, cars puffing in standstill is one of the principal components of the green gas problem. So this will have an effect on the green gas. The green gas affects our environment. It affects our health in the sense that if we have, floods and disasters because of global warming, because we didn't take care of this in time, that affects your health. So I forged this connection to get this topic on my list. Now, the second one is also an AI thing, but it's clearly a medical thing right now. And it's happening at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And there is a team there that has developed what they call a robotic steerable needle. We had robotic needles, but this one is running under the egress, eject under AI. So basically, you have an intracorporeal lesion somewhere in your lung, your liver, wherever, and the AI drives the needle towards it, averting coming through other critical body parts. So I think this is still experimental, but it's a wonderful idea. And the idea is that you come into the lesion to do a needle biopsy, and you avoid all the vital parts in the intermediate region. So next one is with regard to the gut microbiome. There's a lot of research on the microbiome. Everybody who's working in that thinks it's the solution to every other problem. But it turns out that those that have a severe case of COVID-19, there seems to be a correlation with having a certain fungus in the microbiome. The microbiome is not all bacteria. It has other kinds of organisms in there. And this is, they didn't name the particular fungus. Fungus in plural is fungi. So you can have a lot of fun with this. Okay, now the next one is not AI, and it's not bacterial or microbiological. It's a guided missile drug. How would that work? Well, the idea is that the way we do chemotherapy now is you give somebody something which is frankly a poison, and it kills the tumor cells to some extent, often not completely, but it also impinges upon all the other tissues in your body, and not too selectively at all. So there's always a downside to it. Hopefully you'll get a substantial benefit from it, and that justifies its use. But this is another idea. This is a so-called ADC, an antibody drug conjugate. Conjugate means a linkage. You know what an antibody is, you know what a drug is. But now we've got a drug that has an antibody that's homing in on the particular tumor you've got. And then wow, the drug goes at it. So you can give higher doses, you can avoid this indiscriminate peripheral damage. And so this will have a beneficial effect. But now here's the sneaky part. The federal government has decided that medical issues which have substantial financial impact, the cost of those medical treatments has to be negotiated with medical care. Previously, they could charge whatever the hell they wanted. That had some element of injustice connected with it. So the idea behind this is by making this treatment specific for just that tumor, while it's still profitable, it doesn't have 25 other profit streams connected to it, because you can only use it for that. So you get under this threshold and you don't have to negotiate with Medicare. And the pharmaceutical companies love this. And they went through a list of the drug companies that were working on this, you know, joining up with each other, shifting partners, they're going for it. Okay, topic 5, COVID damage lingers. You have heard of long COVID, and then they stopped talking about it. So, okay, those guys have long COVID, fine, I'm eating lunch, just don't bother me. But this article I came across and another one that was on the lung indicated that there is demonstrable effect on our more powerful scans of changes in the tissues of the lung and the heart. They didn't specify whether it's fibrosis or necrosis and so forth. The scan just says there's something there that shouldn't be there and it's substantial. And these studies now go out 5 months. So you got it for quite a while and it may never go away. So the idea that you could just, oh, I don't need to wear a mask. Well, I do need to wear a mask because I'm an old fart. I have diabetes. I have hypertension. If I were to be infected, I have the same risk as everybody else of getting long COVID, and more so because if I get it, I'm in much worse trouble. So it's worth being an oddball and saying, I do this for my health. You can do what you want for your health. You found the violin. Good man. Okay. So that violin produces music, mostly classical music. It could have been any instrument, but this is the one they showed in the picture. And Dan found a way to get it in our presentation. These guys at the University of Bern, which is in Germany, I believe, have Switzerland? Okay. They have studied the effect of classical music on crowds. How does that get to be medical? Well, it turns out that when they're hearing the music, there is a kind of collective physiological response to the music. I mean, everybody kind of knows this, but did you ever stop and wonder what that boils down to?
We felt it today.
What?
We felt it today.
Oh my gosh, what the
Yeah, well, that was not really classical music, but they said there is some effect with other kinds as well. And so they studied physiological parameters, such as the pulse rate, the heart rate, the breathing rate, and the basic feeling of spiritual elevation, which they couldn't quantify, but they can ask about that. And they also asked the people in the study, it was a small study, there was only about 140 people in it, to write out what they thought their personality type was before they went into the study. Because they then found, they suspected, and then they found out that the impact of this relationship between the music and your physiology depended on your personality type. Wow. So what's the deal here? Well, if you're a person with openness. Yeah,
For anybody who has seen The Shawshank Redemption, the movie. Where,
Yes.
the main character breaks into the warden's office at the prison. And he puts on the loudspeaker throughout the whole prison. Concert music and the stuff you're talking about, the music you're talking about. And the whole prison yard becomes very peaceful and quiet and they're all listening. And it had, that was just a real special moment. It shows what you're talking about.
so if you had a remote personality type, you don't respond as well as the other people. Remote, okay. All right, now the final topic, yes, we're almost done. This is from the University of Barcelona. And as you know, in European scale, Barcelona is considered the most cultivated spot on the planet. This is a personal issue for me. It may turn out to be a personal issue for all of you, but they found out that daily consumption of peanuts and peanut butter improves your memory, lowers your stress level and your anxiety level, and can wither away your depression. Now, I have been pushing this hard without knowing this effect existed, and it hasn't done shit for my memory. But I may have the wrong personality type for this. So the idea is, why not eat some peanuts or some peanut butter? It's in the microbiome. It affects all these things. And this was reported in the Journal of Functional Foods and also reported by, get this, the Peanut Institute.
Oh, wow.
I think I'd like to get a job at the Peanut Institute. And that's the conclusion of my report for today.
Mr. Bill, I have a question for you. That targeted to the tumors,
Yeah,
is that now or is that future?
they're working on it.
Oh,
a-
it's
a
still future.
competitive thing. They're working on it, yeah.
Okay,
They know that it's gonna work. The question is, given that you're giving up the other tumor reactions to avoid this government scrutiny, is it still worthwhile? And they think it is, because they're competing like hell to get this out.
is
So
there any idea how long it would be?
you guys always ask.
I know.
A week from Tuesday.
Okay. What was your question exactly?
What about other things that are noted by some to be good for memory, like ginkgo biloba or some other vitamins or supplements or foods? Blueberries? I don't know.
Have you tried these things?
No.
I know of a medication that they're advertising all the time about, take it, it'll increase your
Oh, yeah.
Right.
memory. What is that?
Well,
Prevagen, what do you think about that?
Probably has some impact on some people.
How do you know what your microbiome is at the moment?
You don't, you don't.
You don't, there's no
Nope.
test for that
There are
or?
literally billions of organisms.
And possibilities.
Yeah.
The thing about peanuts, does it work, you think, with other nuts like walnuts? I like walnuts.
That wasn't in the Barcelona study.
But if I were you, I'd test it out personally.
Her memory is great. I think it's working.
So I wanted to make a comment on the music. What the phenomena that you suggest is why they call it the language of the gods, right? Or the language of the spirit, music, and it is. And it, is classical mute more important or more significant than rock and roll? Not to me, but rock and roll is pretty significant.
Do you?
To me, I like classical music.
And the music we have at Lunch Bunch makes a big difference. I
That was a
think, in
big
how
deal
we
today,
feel.
I thought, I really enjoyed it.
Fabulous, and that was 1940s music.
And I'm thinking to the beginning of the Ukraine war, how the artists came and gave concerts, public concerts, just started a concert in the middle of the square or whatever,
Right.
and how it calmed the people who were obviously upset.
Or the orchestra on the Titanic as it was going down.
Yeah.
They decide to play music
Yeah,
and, I mean, if you're going anyway, better to listen to music.
Oh, yes, we had music today and nobody came to blows.